Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral caramelized onion pasta, so let's get started with the video. Begin by cutting 2 onions into thin slices. When you're finished, set the onions to the side until you're ready to use them. Next, in a large pot filled with water, add salt. Bring the water to a boil and then add your pasta noodles. I added thin spaghetti noodles. Cook the pasta for however long it says to on the box. In a large pan over low heat, add 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Once the butter has completely melted, add the onions you prepared before. Proceed to caramelize the onions by cooking them at low heat and stirring them occasionally for about 30 to 40 minutes. You'll know the onions are caramelized when they're soft, brown, and jammy. Once you finish caramelizing the onions, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and 2 tablespoons of chili crisp oil. Then mix everything together and let everything cook for another minute. Next, add 2 cups of heavy cream. Then mix everything together until well combined, and then let your sauce simmer until it becomes thick. Once the sauce starts to thicken, mix in a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Then add a half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Once you finish making the sauce, turn off the heat and add your pasta noodles. Mix the noodles into the sauce until they are completely coated and you are all finished. Now all you have to do is plate it up. After adding the pasta in the bowl, I topped it with some chili crisp. Then I added some Parmesan cheese and parsley on top as well. And this is the finished result. This pasta was seriously so delicious. The caramelized onions and chili crisp gave it a really good flavor. It's also super creamy and didn't need a lot of seasonings. And once again, it's super easy to make. I completely understand why this pasta went viral. It is so good. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this herb-crusted baked salmon with Tuscan pasta. This was absolutely delicious, and I can't wait to show you guys how to make it, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making the breadcrumb mixture that goes on top of the salmon. First, process pieces of stale bread in a food processor. The bread I'm using is brioche bread, but you can use whatever type of bread you want. When you have finished making the breadcrumbs, you can begin making the breadcrumb mixture. In a bowl, add a half a cup of breadcrumbs, a quarter cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 tablespoon of rosemary, 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Once you've added all of your ingredients, mix everything together until well combined. When you have finished making your breadcrumb mixture, set it to the side. Next, we're going to prepare our salmon. Place 1 salmon fillet on a cutting board. Then, coat the salmon in a bit of olive oil. Next, season the salmon fillet with your preferred seasonings. I'm seasoning my salmon with pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, Old Bay, and paprika. Make sure to season your salmon on all sides. When you finish seasoning your salmon, brush a layer of Dijon mustard on top. Then add a layer of breadcrumbs. Repeat this process with your second salmon fillet. When you have finished preparing both your salmon fillets, place them on a baking sheet. Next, bake the salmon in the oven at 400 degrees for 13 to 17 minutes. While the salmon is baking in the oven, we're going to make our Tuscan pasta. In a pot filled with water, add salt. Bring the water to a boil and then add your pasta noodles. Cook the noodles for however long it says to on the package. While the noodles are cooking, we're going to start on the sauce. In a large pan over medium heat, add olive oil. Then add a half a cup of diced onions. Sauté the onions for about 3 to 5 minutes or until translucent. Once you finish sautéing your onions, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Sauté the garlic with the onions for about 1 to 2 minutes. Then add a half a cup of sun-dried tomatoes. Cook the sun-dried tomatoes for about 5 minutes. Next, add a half a cup of chicken broth and 2 cups of heavy cream. Mix everything together and then bring your sauce to a simmer. Let your sauce simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes or until it starts to become thick. Once your sauce starts to become thick, add 2 to 3 cups of spinach and let it cook down in the sauce. Once the spinach starts to wilt, add a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Next, add a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and 1 tablespoon of parsley. Mix everything together until well combined and then add your pasta noodles. After mixing in your pasta noodles, you are all finished making your Tuscan pasta. By now your salmon should be done baking in the oven, so all that's left is to plate everything up. And this is the finished result. This whole dish was so good, especially the Tuscan pasta. The Tuscan pasta was creamy and delicious, and the salmon was flavorful and went with the pasta perfectly. Be careful who you make this for, because my mom wouldn't stop talking about this dish until I made it for her again. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious and creamy Cajun king crab pasta, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by preparing the ingredients. First, dice 1 onion, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 yellow bell pepper. When you're finished, set your onions and peppers to the side. Next, deshell 1 to 2 king crab legs. Next, clean the crab leg meat by removing the fat and giving it a quick rinse. Once the crab leg meat is clean, chop it into small pieces. Once you finish chopping the king crab, set it to the side. Next, in a pot filled with water, add salt. Then bring the water to a boil and add linguine noodles. Then cook your noodles for however long it says to on the box. By the way, when your noodles finish cooking, make sure to save some of the pasta water. We're going to add that to the sauce later. While the noodles are cooking, we're going to make the creamy pasta sauce. In a large pan over medium heat, add olive oil and a few tablespoons of butter. Once the butter has melted, add a 1/4 cup of diced onions and a 1/4 cup of diced bell peppers. Sauté the bell peppers and onions for about 3 minutes. Then add a 1/4 cup of diced roasted tomatoes and 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Continue to sauté everything for 2 more minutes. Once you finish sautéing your veggies, add a 1/2 cup of white wine. Then let the white wine simmer for 3 to 4 minutes until it has reduced by half. Next, add 2 cups of heavy cream. Mix everything together until well combined and then bring your sauce to a simmer. Continue to cook the sauce until it starts to become thick. Next, mix in 1½ cups of Parmesan cheese, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Once everything is mixed together, add a 1/4 cup of pasta water. Now that we've finished making the sauce, we can go ahead and add the linguine noodles. Mix the noodles in until they are completely coated in the sauce. Next, taste your pasta and see if it needs any more seasonings. I added a bit more Cajun seasoning. Then add some red pepper flakes and chopped parsley. And that's it, you are all finished making your Cajun pasta. Now we're going to cook the king crab. In a pan over medium heat, add 2 tablespoons of butter. Once the butter is melted, add a tablespoon of minced garlic. Let the garlic cook in the butter for a bit and then add the king crab. Then mix the king crab in the butter and garlic. Next, add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, a bit of Cajun seasoning, and some parsley. By the way, king crab is already salty, so you don't want to add too much seasoning. You just want to add enough to give it some flavor. Then continue to cook the king crab for 2 minutes. By the way, while I was cooking the king crab, it smelled so good. When you're finished cooking the king crab, you can go ahead and plate everything up. Place your pasta in a dish and then add the king crab on top. Once you have finished adding the king crab, sprinkle red pepper flakes and parsley on top as well. And this is the finished result. This pasta was so good. It was creamy, flavorful, and delicious. This recipe is perfect for dinner and easy to make. I definitely recommend giving it a try. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make carbonara. Technically, this is the more modern, budget-friendly carbonara. It's easy and super delicious, so let's get started with the video. Begin by adding 3 eggs and 1 egg yolk into a bowl. Whisk all your eggs until they are no longer thick. When you're finished, your eggs should be thin and should come off your whisk easily. Now add 4 ounces of grated Parmesan cheese or Romano cheese, or 4 ounces of both. I added 4 ounces of both. Then add 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Whisk everything together until well combined. When you're finished, set your egg mixture to the side. Now take 5 or 6 slices of thick cut bacon and cut them into pieces. When you finish cutting up your bacon, place it in a pan. Proceed to cook your bacon over medium heat until they are nice and crispy. When your bacon is finished cooking, take it off the heat and remove most of the bacon fat except for 2 tablespoons. Leave at least 2 tablespoons of your bacon fat in the pan. Then set it to the side. Next, add salt to a large pot of water. Then bring it to a boil. Then cook your spaghetti noodles. Once your spaghetti noodles are finished cooking, take them straight out of the pot and add them to the pan where you cooked your bacon. Toss your spaghetti noodles around in the bacon fat and bacon. Once everything is well combined, add 1/3 cup of your pasta water. Toss your pasta around, making sure everything is well coated, and then add your egg mixture. Toss your pasta and move very quickly. Make sure everything is well coated. Keep moving your pasta until everything is well coated and your egg mixture has cooked. Working quickly and continuously moving and tossing your pasta will help make the sauce creamy and will help it cook. The heat from the pasta water and the pasta will cook the egg mixture. You'll know your pasta is finished when it becomes creamy and thick. Once you've finished tossing your pasta and it's nice and creamy, go ahead and taste it. See if it needs any additional cheese, pepper, or salt. And that's it, you've made carbonara. Now that your pasta is finished, you can go ahead and plate it up. And this is the finished result. The carbonara was really good. I really enjoyed it. I've wanted to make carbonara ever since I watched Masters of None, so I'm glad I got the opportunity to make it. Of course, this isn't real, authentic carbonara. It's more like modern day, on a budget carbonara, like I said earlier. If you want to make real, authentic carbonara, all you have to do is use guanciale instead of bacon. And Parmesan cheese you grate yourself instead of the stuff you get from the grocery store. By the way, the recipe I used for this video was from Binging with Babish. I absolutely love his channel and the recipes that he makes. I'll have the link to the recipe I used and his channel down below. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make spicy Cajun shrimp pasta. So let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by deshelling and deveining our shrimp. When you're finished, go ahead and set your shrimp to the side. Then slice 2 sausages. When you're finished slicing your sausages, set them to the side. In a large pot of water, add salt. Then, bring it to a boil. When your water starts boiling, add your pasta. I'm using spaghetti noodles. You can also add linguine noodles or fettuccine noodles if you'd like. Then, just cook your noodles for as long as it says to on the box. When your noodles are finished cooking, drain the water and then set your noodles to the side. Now, in a large pan over medium heat, melt some butter. When your butter is melted, add the shrimp you deshelled and deveined from before. Then season your shrimp. I seasoned my shrimp with pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and Cajun seasoning. Then cook your shrimp for about 5 to 7 minutes. When your shrimp are finished cooking, take them out of the pan. Cook your sausage for about 5 minutes. When your sausage is finished cooking, remove them from the pan and set them to the side. After that, add 1/4 cup of diced onions and 1/4 cup of diced bell peppers. Saute your peppers and onions for about 5 minutes or until translucent. When your peppers and onions have finished cooking, add 3/4 cup of chicken broth. Then add 3 tablespoons of butter. When your butter has melted, add 1 cup of heavy cream. Then add a half a cup of crushed tomatoes. Mix everything together until well combined. Once you've finished mixing everything together, add 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, and 1/4 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Then add a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Mix everything together until well combined. Make sure to reduce your heat to low. Then add your pasta noodles. Then add a few shakes of cayenne pepper, and if you want, a bit more Cajun seasoning. Mix your noodles into your sauce until everything is well coated. You can go ahead and add your shrimp and sausage into your pasta while it's in the pan, or you can wait to add it on top when you plate it. Add some green onions on top of your pasta and you are all finished. And this is the finished product. This pasta was so good. I kept eating it while I was cooking it, and Mom kept eating it while I was cooking it because I needed her to taste test. And then we both kept eating it, so I had to make more. That's how good it was. It was the right amount of spicy, like not too spicy that it's overwhelming, but just enough. I would totally make this again. It was so good. And I was just making this for a quick dinner, but it came out surprisingly well. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make a classic shrimp fettuccine alfredo, so let's get started with the video. Begin by placing your shrimp in a bowl. By the way, I've already peeled, deveined, and cleaned these shrimp. Next, coat the shrimp in a bit of olive oil. When you're finished, season the shrimp with your preferred seasonings. The seasonings I'm using are pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, Old Bay, and paprika. When you're finished seasoning your shrimp, set them to the side. Next, in a pot filled with water, add salt. Bring the water to a boil and then add your fettuccine noodles. Boil the noodles for however long it says to on the package. While the noodles are cooking, we're going to move on and make the Alfredo sauce. In a pan over medium heat, add 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter. Once the butter is melted, place the shrimp in the pan and cook them for about 4 to 5 minutes. Once the shrimp have finished cooking, take them out of the pan and set them to the side. Next, add 3 tablespoons of butter in the pan. Once the butter is melted, add a half a cup of diced onions. Sauté the onions for about 3 to 4 minutes or until translucent. When you're finished, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and then sauté the garlic and onions for about a minute. Next, add a half a cup of chicken broth and 2 cups of heavy cream. Mix everything together until well combined and then bring your sauce to a simmer. Continue to cook the sauce until it starts to become thick. Once the sauce starts to become thick, mix in 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. Then add a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 tablespoon of parsley. Then mix everything together until well combined. Once you have finished making the Alfredo sauce, you can now add your fettuccine noodles. Mix the noodles in with the sauce until they are completely coated. When you have finished making your fettuccine Alfredo, all that's left to do is plate it up and enjoy. By the way, you can either mix the shrimp into your pasta or you can add it on top like I did. It's really up to you. I also added some parsley and Parmesan cheese on top. And this is the finished result. The shrimp fettuccine Alfredo was creamy, delicious, and easy to make. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make my version of the viral feta pasta that's been super popular on TikTok. Begin by preparing your ingredients. Dice 1 onion, chop 4 to 5 leaves of basil, this part's optional, but you can also grate or shred some Parmesan cheese. Next, in a 9x13 pan, add 2 pints of cherry tomatoes. Make a space for your feta in the middle of the cherry tomatoes. Then add a half a block of feta cheese. Add 1/4 cup of your diced onions. Then add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, about 1/8 or 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder, and finally add some olive oil, about 1/4 cup. You're actually supposed to add the olive oil before the seasonings, but I forgot. Then give everything a little mix to make sure everything is coated and place it inside the oven at 400 degrees for 35 minutes. Next, in a large pot of water, add salt. Bring your water to a boil and then cook your pasta of choice. I'm using Blvd pasta. Five minutes before your feta is finished cooking, add a tablespoon of minced garlic. You can do this, or you can add garlic cloves in the beginning and let it cook with the tomatoes and feta, or you can add the minced garlic after your feta and tomatoes have finished cooking completely. I added the garlic 5 minutes beforehand because I wanted my garlic to cook with the other ingredients without it overcooking and burning. Once your tomatoes and feta have finished cooking, add your basil. Then add a 1/2 cup of ricotta cheese and mix everything together until well combined. Once everything is mixed in, add your pasta. Once you've mixed everything in, you are finished. Place your pasta on a plate, add a bit of Parmesan cheese on top, and enjoy. And this is the finished result. This pasta was so good. I got the idea to do half feta, half ricotta from a TikTok video that I'll link down below. Using half feta and half ricotta was great in my opinion because I felt like the feta was too strong when I made the original version. I also added diced onions and more seasonings, which was also different from the original, and it all ended up tasting really good. The recipe was super quick and simple, and I will definitely be making it again. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and liked the recipe. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today we will be making Drunken mussel pasta. It's creamy, full of flavor, and so delicious. So let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by prepping our ingredients. First, we're going to chop our parsley. Pick the leaves off the stem of your parsley. When you're finished, finely chop the parsley. By the way, please do not copy the way I am chopping the parsley. The way I'm holding the parsley with my left hand is wrong. I'm supposed to form a claw with my hand while keeping my fingertips inward. The reason I'm not doing it in the video is because I'm still practicing and I have trouble consistently keeping that position in my hand. If you're interested in a more in-depth explanation on how to use a knife, I'll put a helpful video in the description below. And remember, when you're using a knife, remember to go slowly and watch your hands carefully to avoid any injuries while you're practicing and learning how to use it properly. When you're finished chopping up your parsley, set it to the side. Now we're just going to clean and thaw our mussels. Rinse them off thoroughly and make sure you remove the beard from any mussels. Fish out any mussels that are completely closed. These are the ones that were dead from the start and are unsafe to eat. The mussels that are good to eat are the ones that are slightly open. When you're finished, set your mussels to the side. In a large pot filled with water, add salt. Bring the pot of water to a boil. Then add your noodles. It can be thin spaghetti, linguine, or fettuccine. Then add your favorite pasta noodles. It could be fettuccine, linguine, spaghetti. I use thin spaghetti. Then just cook it for however long it says on the box. When your noodles are finished cooking, drain your noodles and then set them to the side. Then, in a large pan over medium heat, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter. Wait until the butter has melted and then add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic and 1/4 cup of chopped onions. Sauté everything until your onions and garlic are fragrant. Then add 3/4 cup of white wine. Then add 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes and 1/4 teaspoon of basil. After everything is mixed in and well combined, go ahead and add your mussels. Make sure to coat your mussels in the white wine sauce. Cook your mussels in the white wine sauce for 5 minutes. When your mussels are finished cooking, go ahead and remove them from the pan. We're removing the mussels from the pan so they don't overcook while we make our pasta. Then add 3/4 cup of heavy cream. Then add 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. It might be easier to use grated Parmesan cheese instead of shredded, by the way. I went ahead and added about a tablespoon of lemon juice. After that, I added my noodles and made sure everything was well coated and well combined. By the way, when you're adding your noodles, reduce your heat to low. After that, you can add a bit more of your favorite cheeses. I added Italian blend. Then add 1/4 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And finally, I added some more pepper, some more red pepper flakes, and our freshly chopped parsley. Then I just mixed everything together until well combined. If your pasta ever becomes dry, just add more heavy cream and wine. However, because you're adding more heavy cream and wine, you will have to add more seasonings and a bit more cheese. But you will eventually get a creamy, delicious, well-seasoned pasta in the end. Once you're finished, you can go ahead and plate your pasta. Once you have placed your pasta in a dish, go ahead and add the mussels we cooked before to the top of the pasta. Then add some freshly chopped tomatoes, some of our freshly chopped parsley, and a sprinkle of paprika and red pepper flakes. And that's it, you are all finished. And this is the finished product. The pasta was creamy and delicious and well seasoned. I especially liked adding the tomatoes on top. Adding fresh tomatoes to pasta, it is so good. This was a fairly quick recipe and I really enjoyed making it. By the way, you could totally make the drunken mussels by themselves without the pasta if you want, but I do recommend making the pasta because it does pair well with the mussels. I thought this would be really cool to make for a dinner date, maybe pair it with a side of bruschetta and a salad. I think that would be super delicious. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Everything I used in the video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make this delicious, creamy, spicy vodka pasta. I'm super excited to show you guys how to make this, so let's get started with the video. We're gonna begin by grating or shredding 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. When you're finished, set the Parmesan cheese to the side. Next, dice 1 onion. When you're finished, set your diced onions to the side. Now, in a large pot of water, add salt. Bring the large pot of water to a boil and then add 2 cups of your favorite pasta noodles. I'm using shell pasta for mine. Once your noodles are cooked, save half a cup of your pasta water. I saved all of my pasta water just in case. You can do the same, or you can just save half a cup. Set your pasta water aside to use later. Now, in a large pan over medium heat, add 1/4 cup of olive oil. Then add 1/4 cup of your diced onions. Sauté your onions for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then add 1 tablespoon of garlic and saute the garlic with the onions for 1 more minute. When you finish sauteing your garlic and onions, add a half a cup of tomato paste. Stir the tomato paste in with the onions, garlic, and olive oil. Allow the tomato paste to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then add 2 tablespoons of vodka. Stir in the vodka and then let it cook for about 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes are up, add 1 cup of heavy cream. Stir in the heavy cream until well combined. Once everything is well combined, add a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of red pepper flakes, 2 teaspoons of basil, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Then stir in 1 cup of your Parmesan cheese. After that, add a half a cup of the pasta water you saved before. Then add 1 tablespoon of butter. Once you've finished making your sauce and it's all nice and creamy, you can go ahead and add your pasta noodles. And that's it! You are all finished making your spicy vodka pasta. And this is the finished result. This pasta is quick and easy to make, and it was really good. I got this recipe off TikTok. I'll have the TikTok linked in the description below. I totally recommend giving this recipe a try. It is so flavorful and spicy. By the way, if you have leftovers of the pasta, don't cook it in the microwave. Place your pasta into a pot, then add a bit of heavy cream and cook it over medium heat until it is creamy again. Trust me, I did that when I had it for lunch the next day. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!